one of the things that happened is I would walk, I was doing the health food thing, and then I decided to leave it and do cable television. I want to present the stuff I learned because in those days, I thought everybody wanted to know. Guess what? They didn't necessarily, but I learned how to do some little minuscule TV things in cable television. We ran 6 series of 6. And I was always haunting the radio, listening to little tidbits, right? And another thing I did was, one time I was driving this healer all around Vancouver, and he was saying, "You're really strange." He said, "Why are you so single?" And I said, "Well, my whole life fell apart, and I have this list, and I've got to go through this entire list of how to improve myself before I can date anybody." I thought he would wet himself. He laughed so hard. He was just, ow! So I went home from this workshop, which was a real ripoff. I mean, it made me mad. And I started writing affirmations. In those days we were doing you take your name and go, "I, Ronnie, have a wonderful mate. Ronnie, you have a wonderful mate. Ronnie has a wonderful mate." It was like, so I did 23 of them and put them on tapes and ran them behind everything. Well, the next weekend I had 4 men in my life, oh my goodness. One of whom was Glenn Entwistle.
My dad.
I said, and here I wrote, and he's kind of a somber character, isn't he? He's quite funny, but he's British and very... So I wrote in here that he came flying in on a magic carpet. I think he liked that, right?
No.
And then when I was, every day I did 6 miles walk. I mean, I was so diligent. Nobody wanted to eat with me or be with me. I was like, you eat this for this reason, you do this for the, people are going, "Yeah, you're looking good. Okay, we're all going over here, So, and then I would sit in the car and I would listen to a guy named Earl Nightingale who wrote 2-minute pieces for radio, which I started to write like that. And one of the pieces that I heard this one day, and I just started going out with John Entwistle, who I call Glenn in this book, and met his little daughter, who I call Jane in this book, not this book, Disney. And I was listening to this thing on a clinic on the Dead Sea, right? And it was called it's a psoriasis clinic. So it's telling about how people from America, from all over the world, go once a year to the psoriasis clinic on the Dead Sea because of the atmosphere and the black mud and the doodly-doo.
The doodly-doo.
So I'm listening going, I want to go to Israel. Later that day, John called me. He said, I've just taken he's a job shopper. He said, I'm taking a job in Israel. You want to come?
Wow.
I said, yeah. I probably hardly knew him. I think I knew him for a month or 2 or something, 4 maybe.
Wow.
So off we went to Israel. And I was running around to get to the healing spas, which I did. Remember, I got published and everything. And
You got published?
yeah, I did. Over there.
Oh, okay. You just reported on going to the baths or something?
Yeah, I was writing about the the black mud and stuff. You ought to go to Israel actually, to the Dead Sea. I mean, it's really amazing how many healing things happen for people. Ironically, later I had a surprise child who has psoriasis. Think about it. Shouldn't have gone there, maybe, huh? Anyway, so then I'm over in Israel, and it's I'm going, wow, is this ever exotic? I'm over in Israel with this engineer. We're having a great affair. All right. So then I hear all of a sudden that Lucy, who's 13, is coming to stay with us. Right? She's coming for a month. Nobody asked me, right? But it was all prearranged. So I'm going, okay. So here it is. So I'll just read this. And then Lucy arrived, and here I was, in my mind anyway, having an adventure in an exotic country. Glenn's daughter Lucy was 13, very short, red-headed, and fair, with a number of health concerns. But folks had decided, without asking me or even wondering if it would infringe upon this potentially romantic scene with my new lover, who worked 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. incidentally, that she would come for a whole month. Oh, who's going to look after her? I asked the walls. Soon, there she was. I found other children for her, but she would have none of it. She wanted to perform or to write or to play with me, or anything. She wanted to hang, you wanted to hang, or something. We didn't say it then, that style. Then she needs to play. He said nothing. So I got over myself. And every morning, Lucy and I would go to one of the local coffee shops on the corner, shops with the clanking of the chai cellars and the Turkish coffees bubbling in exotic pots. And right there at the corner of Dizengoff and Lazaroff, our corner, Lucy and I wrote grand poetry, arguing about our words and our metaphors and whales and whether animals are better than people. Remember that? We would get like, yip, 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 yip. It was really great. Our apartment was above the Supersol, and our balcony hung over its flat roof. The Supersol is like the Safeway. Okay. So our apartment
Super soft.
It wasn't solar panels either. Our apartment was above the Supersol, and our balcony hung over the flat roof. And one day, Lucy wanted to direct a play. Of course, I was her only possible star, besides herself. I played a huge, buxom woman with the help of my friend's nursing bra stuffed with socks. And Short Stuff played the man. The music was by Queen. Do you remember this?
It was Flash Gordon.
Was it? I felt really shy. I wasn't sure about doing it, but anyway, we entertained everybody, so there. She sent out invitations to our neighbors, British job shoppers and fellow Israeli aircraft folks, who peered over their balconies to watch our play. I felt like an ass, but we performed anyway, and the audiences laughed hard. Touring in the tremendous heat was a challenge to Lucy, but appearing like an albino Bedouin with a huge wet towel around her neck and head, she made it through our explorations of truly ancient history. Back at the Dead Sea, we slathered our bodies with black mud. We climbed to the top of Mount Tabor, from which Jesus was to have ascended, and now was the domain of a Franciscan monastery. There was an awe of so many there to honor the ascension. Peering out of her wet towel wrap, her blue eyes, red curls peeking around her face. Just a sec. Lucy broke the silence. Ronnie, she asked, did Jesus ever poop? Good question. I don't think we've ever been told that, and we collapsed laughing. Do you remember that? Yeah, oh my God. Sitting in the back with that wet towel, too. God, it was as big as you were. That was a lot. We did a lot in Israel, actually.
We did.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. When Janie left Israel, I cried a lot.
Aww.
My little buddy was gone.
Oh.
Yeah, we made up for it, didn't we, Janie?